You have until October 18th XRP moon date.
Is saying stablecoins are the future. Do they have plans with Ripple to roll out a digital pound? Let's go ahead and get into what's new and updated here in the XRP space. We also have some more information and new updates here about ETFs and how much money could possibly be coming into them. We have some updates about liquidity. Ripple has a new digital asset custody in action, 3 use cases driving institutional adoption. Let's go ahead and jump into this information. So Chad Steingraber posted this, Bank of England stating that
stablecoins are a big thing, but the one I'm really banking on is the ETFs. The ETFs have been the biggest factor for Ethereum and Bitcoin's prices to come back. So for XRP, it's gonna like double down, in my opinion. It's gonna like double or triple down in that way, because this is what XRP needs to join the big fish, that sweet juicy ETF. But of course, banks are now going for stablecoins because it's going to make them a lot of revenue.
Coins are the future of money. RL Euro is coming soon. It says Bank of England Deputy Governor Sarah Breeden said stablecoins could be moving money across borders faster and less costly than the traditional system, right? The Bank of England is preparing to launch a consultation on its revised plans for stablecoin regulation later this year.
I mean, stablecoins are going to be good because they earn from fees, but it also makes the transfer so much faster. Like, guys, do not underestimate fast transfers. Usually they're next day or something, or same day. If it's instant, imagine people will be sending and spending more money because you could instantly send it to someone. That's what really helps people to spend it. You know, you don't have to wait a day to spend something.
Softening its approach after the industry warned its initial stance was too tough. Breeden's vision for UK payments landscape is one of the multi-money mixed ecosystem where different forms of money play their own roles, maximizing utility for UK businesses and UK households. And so I wanted to see if there's an additional information here that maybe we're missing. Of course, we talked about the key context here. Stablecoins may allow more efficient and less costly international money transfers, highlighting their role as the future of money. When you have the Bank of England calling stablecoins the future of money, we should be paying attention to these statements. It'd be interesting, right? You have Ripple working with SBI to release the RLUSD in Japan, as well as a RLUSD. What would you call it? RLUSD yen backed, right? So RL yen? I don't know. What do you call it? I'm sure there's a better name for it, but you could have RL Great British Pound, GBP, right? And so I'd imagine they're trying to find a way to have all of this on one network, which would be the XRP ledger, in my opinion. The Bank of England is actively working on revised plans for regulating stablecoins and aims to gather public and industry feedback through consultation later this year in 20.
So yeah, it's very clear the banks are doing the regulation now, and they're doubling down on everything that's going to be regulated. That's why also XRP has bought the business-to-business rail company that's 200 million. For this simple reason, because the banks are already announcing that what they're going to be doing, and Ripple wants to be the first in the line to actually offer it to them. They're probably going to be contacting these governments, which they want to, like Ripple wants to get regulated and work with them in some way.
2025, reflecting on a more accommodating stance towards tech as the technology evolves. The reference post also mentions the RL Euro, hinting at potential launches of regulated euro-denominated stablecoins. So not just pound RL pound, or maybe RL Euro as well. Remember, the Bank of France has tested the XRP ledger and often speaks very highly of the company Ripple and the XRP ledger. So you do know Ripple has friends in Europe, and I would imagine some of these central bankers talk with each other about what technology is the best. And
that's exactly the thing. Everything is so connected that XRP getting all the major partnerships. So yeah, there's no volume liquidity in this project at the moment, save for Algo. That's the thing. Sometimes like some projects explode, and the other times the other projects do well. And each of these projects, you know, like HBAR, IOTA, Algorithm, Chainlink. I would think Chainlink is pretty much for PayPal and stuff like that, what they partner with. They have each their own plan on where to get that liquidity going or where to get their projects. And XRP is going to work with banks. That's their main promise, because banks have a lot of money. They have a huge problem. And I think they did that very well, which other projects do not do.
what works and what doesn't. Anyway, Ripple is known for its focus on improving global payments, partnering with financial institutions, and supporting tokenized fiat through stablecoins and CBDCs on its XRPL platform. While the Bank of England comments do not mention Ripple specifically, Ripple has historically engaged in dialogue with major central banks, including the Bank of England, about blockchain-based payment systems and interoperability. Ripple's recent business moves on ongoing work on institutional stablecoin infrastructure put it in a strong position to contribute to or benefit from any UK or European stablecoin rollouts, especially if regulatory frameworks mature in the coming months. Here is a clip about the Genius Act is causing a Cambrian explosion in the development of stablecoins. Let me play this.
The Genius Act is the biggest thing for crypto that we have been waiting for. And XRP is probably going to benefit it from more than Ethereum or Bitcoin.
And so I want to come back to the Genius Act. You mentioned some of the blow-ups and some of the potential risks that have been associated previously with stablecoin. But Genius Act how important did that become in terms of stablecoin adoption and usage and, I guess, feeling less risk in buying stablecoin?
I think that the Genius Act is causing a Cambrian explosion in development of stablecoins, usage, adoption. There were so many people sitting on the sidelines that knew that this was a superior technology, faster, cheaper, easier, no third party to pay a toll to in the middle of your transactions, but they needed that regulatory clarity to do it. And I'm talking about the biggest institutions in the world. I mean, we have Western Union saying they're going to create their own stablecoin, the Citibanks, PNCs, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, all of them talking about either adopting an existing stablecoin or building their own on private networks. So I would say that now the confidence to use this superior technology is there, and nobody's afraid to do it anymore. And it really is just that much better.
Listen, if a bank or institution wanted to build a stablecoin, we've done the math. We've already done all of the research on this. It would take minimum 12 to 24 months. Longer term, maybe 3 to 4 years if you're building something from scratch. You got to figure out what you want to build. You got to bring in a team to...
That's what took XRP 15 years, right, to build this. Instead of 3 to 4 months, it took them 15 years because, yeah, these things obviously take time.
Build it, you got to develop it, you got to sandbox test it, then you got to bring in partners, then you got to grow it.
That's why XRP has no competition. It takes, tons of time to do something like that.
It takes a lot of work to do so. And this is why companies will go to Ripple, they'll go to Circle and ask to use their infrastructure or help build a stablecoin. And this is going to start, allowing banks to move forward more quickly because this has already been done again and again and again. And Ripple is going to be in the business of helping banks, governments, whatever companies create their own type of stablecoins, right? They're going to be in the infrastructure business. A lot of people talking about the countdown is on. October 18th through the 25th is when we're going to get the SEC decisions on XRP spot ETF.
So yeah, that's why I'm not expecting much for September. I'm sounding repeating myself here, but still no BlackRock. Still no BlackRock yet, but we do have Grayscale, 21 shares, Bitwise. So I feel like this one is going to be weaker than the Bitcoin and the Ethereum ETFs, which had BlackRock behind it, which is maybe 50%, maybe 70%. We don't truly know unless we look at the data of the trading volume.
ETFs. Now, you also are getting, Solana and a bunch of other hosts of tokens. My thought on this directly is we will see people buying into upfront before the ETFs come out. I would imagine XRP will start to tick up as people bet that the SEC is going to approve this. We don't know for a fact if they are going to or not.
I am pretty sure since they delayed it, they will approve it now. This is what they've been usually doing, delaying it in the summer and approving it in October. And if they're going to approve one, they're going to approve all of them from what I learned for XRP.
But the market is probably going to bet on that it will get approved because the SEC has done everything that they can to show they are a crypto-friendly SEC. And saying no to a spot XRP product would be bad, right? We would have to go through all of the rigmarole of suing the SEC. And I don't think the SEC wants to have any of, heat on them right now. So you let me know what you think in the description, down below in the comments. Do you think they're going to pass this? Let's just get a little bit more information about how much money is under management from these companies. So Grayscale has 35 billion under management. 21 Shares has about 3.95 billion. Bitwise has about 15 billion. Wisdom Tree, 128.6 billion. Franklin Templeton, $1.62 trillion assets under management. That is the biggest one that I've seen on this list. Imagine if we get a BlackRock or a Schwab or something like that to come in with trillions under management as well. That could...
I mean, that's what I'm saying, but that's the thing. I think they're waiting for clear crypto regulation and they're playing the safe path to see if these get approved. Because it's going to take more time to file them again. It's going to take a lot of preparation. But Bitwise having 50 billion in client assets is cool. But BlackRock, is it like a trillion? Don't they have trillion? So over 1.62 trillion as of July. Like Bitwise having only 15 billion is very small compared to 1 trillion, right? The potential.
Be the catalyst that really sends this to the next level. Other spot XRP ETF players as of September 2025, institutional products are largely centered around these firms. Canary Capital, remember the CEO, Mark McClung, says he believes first 30 days spot ETFs for XRP, $5 billion. We'll have to see if he is correct. Pioneering entrant leveraging a Delaware trust model. You also have companies building XRP related trusts too. So there's a lot of demand here for the actual token. Remember, spot products are what we want. That's going to help the price go up because that'll be buying fresh XRP off the open market. So here's Ripple's new document or publication or insight. Hello, it's right in front of me. Come on.
I like that Ripple is already always releasing something, no matter how good, how bad. They're always like getting us some new updates.
Let's say digital asset custody in action, 3 use cases driving institutional adoption. Digital asset custody isn't just a back-end service. It's the confidence factor that transforms that hesitation into action. For institutions, secure and regulated digital asset custody isn't optional. It's the difference between stepping boldly into a digital future and watching opportunities slip by from the sidelines. Institutions are seeking a digital asset custody solution that delivers the same robust services and protections they've long relied on for traditional assets.
I think it's very clear that institutions need fast transfers that are cheap. Imagine sending a transfer and paying a $1 each time. If you send 1 transfer each day, like 3 transfers a day, that's $1,000.
Seamless trading access, comprehensive risk management capabilities, and security. With 10% of the world's assets expected to be
that's why they all want to use XRP. Everybody's like waiting in line.
Tokenized. By 2030, we are witnessing the construction of today's financial market infrastructure. The banks that are establishing a robust crypto custody framework now will be the first to market digital asset services, while those who wait will be left catching up. Remember,
think of like the internet being as really slow right now and be kind of outdated. Now, XRP is trying to change that. They're trying to replace everything from ground up. They realize that, you know, the internet has really developed in the last 24 years. And they're trying to improve the banking system, the internet, the system that's already 30, 40 years old, while we have seen massive improvements overall. And that's where Ripple comes in and tries to say to us, hey, we're going to fix this. We're going to fix that. Just give us some time.
Remember, banks are all going to be competing now for this business. If a bank's not offering crypto services to their customers, those customers might decide to take that money and go to somewhere where they are more welcomed. Remember, younger people more inclined to invest in the cryptocurrency market over the stock market. I think that is going to be a big institutional, divide between younger and maybe people a little bit older, my age, investing in the crypto space. What I'm saying, there's going to be a lot of demand for crypto over the next 10 to 20 years, and this is where I want to be. What does institutional grade digital asset custody look like when it's deployed at scale? It looks like Ripple Custody, enabling institutions to transform high-level digital asset potential into operational reality across 3 critical use cases: core safekeeping, stablecoin issuance, and governance. The foundation, core safekeeping, every custody strategy begins with one.
So this is more behind the scenes, but they are focusing also on treasuries, not just in tokenized real estate. I don't know how long it will take. For my opinion, maybe 1 to 3 years. But it is something that XRP is going to focus when they finish with banks. They probably have way less employees working on that. That is the banking system that they are doing right now.
Fundamental responsibility, secure storage of the private keys that unlock access to the digital assets. From tokenized real estate to treasuries to stablecoins and traditional cryptocurrencies, this core safekeeping capability is the bedrock of institutional digital asset services. For the financial institutions, this foundational capability addresses the most fundamental risk in engaging with digital assets: the permanent loss or unauthorized access of private keys that control potentially billions of dollars in assets. Demand for institutional grade security is climbing as banks lean on digital asset strategies, launch stablecoin initiatives, and serve clients who increasingly expect access to use digital assets in payments, hedging, and portfolio diversification. And with crypto assets under custody projected to reach 16 trillion by 2030, meeting the rising demand requires a...
So crypto assets under custody are projected to reach 16 trillion. That is only if crypto markets grow. Otherwise, that won't happen, right? So that's definitely true, because what what XRP's end goal basically is to have and let people just use their maybe like phone number or email to access and not lose their crypto, because, you know, crypto is a scary place. It's a risky place. And they're trying to go into that way where they can really, you know, focus on the future. Institutions build and maintain their own infrastructure, retaining complete ownership, governance, and control of data. Like that's really what they're writing. Also, you can see here, not only for the retail investors, but they're really pushing for the institutional investors, by the way this is written. So this is where it all starts, you know, for financial institutions. So they're also going for the big money partnerships here.
Custody solution that prioritizes security while balancing utility. Institutions need a system designed for security, scalability, and compliance. That is where Ripple Custody comes in. Remember, Medico Custody and Ripple Custody are two different companies. Now, you can go to either one of those companies. I do believe Ripple probably developed some of their technology through Medico when they bought them. But for the longest time, I think people may realize thinking that Ripple Custody and Medico are the same thing, two different companies, just so you know. Software as a service, a secure, scalable cloud hosting platform for institutions to manage and store their digital assets without building their own complex infrastructure. On-premise, institutions build and maintain their own infrastructure, retaining complete ownership, governance, and control of data and processes, ideal for strict risk compliance and regulatory requirements. Listen, I'm going to leave the rest of this down below. If you want to take a look at this and read through it, please do. A lot of great information in that insight. Ripple Escrow, XRP relocked. Here's the history, 2025. This is how much XRP 1 billion was unlocked, and this is how much was relocked. Notice there's 700, 700, 700, 670. What was that 30 million?
So I'm not too sure. Like, this is escrowed, relocked, which basically means that they will not be selling this. I feel like there's no reason to sell this because they are profitable now. They had to sell XRP tokens a few years before when they weren't profitable. But now that they're finally profitable, we are like pushing towards this being a real company. Not just something that once people stop buying XRP, you know, the price will crash of XRP coin. That's why they keep relocking it. It's very obvious to me.
An extra, where did that go? And then 700 million. And then even 2024, they were locking up 800 million. So Ripple
XRP
is relocking up a lot of this crypto if it isn't spoken for. So a lot of people say, Sensei, all...
That's why they're relocking it month by month, because they decided we won't sell it. There's no need to sell it. We're making tons of money.
You know, some people believe that all the escrow is already spoken for through NDAs. Now, if that was really the case, why is Ripple relocking more than half of it back up? They're relocking 70% back every month. This XRP would be promised to other people, right? That's just how I'm looking at it. I might be, you know, you might not agree with what
I don't think this XRP is promised to other people. It's a treasury. It's in terms of like some bad scenario where they need to sell something, they sell it.
I am saying here, but this does make me believe that there isn't these NDAs and all this XRP is not, you know, it's if it was spoken for, the companies that bought it would have asked for it, right? Why would they have Ripple continuing to hold it in escrow where they can't access it? Because once they relock it, it's relocked for the next like 3 or 4 years. I don't know, man. Massive XRP moves alert. So here's some massive XRP that was moved around the last few days. This is September 3rd, today's date. This will come out on the 4th. Massive XRP moves, 200 million XRP, 550.
Unlocked it Ripple, unlocked it unknown wallet, unlocked it locked. This is very normal transactions, 500 million. I don't think they will sell 800 million of their own tokens. A lot of people were afraid about that, but this is just very normal procedures I think they have.
3 million, 300 million XRP, 830 million unlocked at Ripple, 500 million unlocked from unknown wallet, 1.38 billion. Imagine 500 million XRP. Oh my goodness. And then you have 400 million locked at Ripple, 300 million locked at Ripple, 200 million and plus 300 million XRP moved from unknown wallets to Ripple. Man, people want Ripple, hold my XRP, please. Wait, it's $1 billion. Hold it. What does this all mean? The sudden surge in large XRP unlocks, relocking and whale transfer alerts likely signals strategic liquidity management by Ripple and active positioning by major.
So they're basically locking it because there's no reason to sell it.
Holders, often in anticipation of an institutional adoption, heightened utility, and upcoming market events. Ripple routinely unlocks 1 billion XRP from escrow each month, but typically relocks 70% to limit net supply increases. Only about 0.05% of total XRP supply was effectively added into circulation. This controlled supply approach aims to avoid market shock and stabilize prices, aligning with Ripple's goals of predictable liquidity for cross-border payments and institutional use. It does talk about whale and unknown wallet movement. If you want to like pause the screen, I'll try to link this below for you. But
I think it's pretty clear that this is not from whales, it's from them. And they are pretty much very spoken on what it is. This is the treasury that they have for XRP. A lot of people are saying, what if they sell 700 million? First of all, there's not 700 million in the XRP. So if somebody tries to sell 700 million, maybe he only gets 40 million out of it or 50 million out of the liquidity. So you cannot do that. And secondly, they own this in case of worst case scenario or to sell it privately. They've done that in the past. They sold these tokens at slightly discounted rates, maybe to pay for the lawsuit and stuff like that.
If you want to pause the screen and read through it, please do. I'm just not gonna. Digital asset investor and digital perspectives. Man, these guys like love each other. Bitcoin, 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 Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin. If you repeat a lie often enough, it becomes accepted as the truth. Joseph.
Yeah, but XRP has been 400% up this year, which I said it has adjusted its price. So yeah, it's a pretty clear idea of what's happening.
Goebbels. I don't know. Let's ask Lexi. Okay. I don't know if we should be quoting that, but all good, man. Whatever you want to do. Anyways, Bitcoin, XRP, and Ethereum. XRP trailing 12-month return. What are people posting on X? Jim Thorne predict.
That's why I avoid X, because there's so much crazy stuff, you know, like people post. But the only thing that you should take out of this is not anything of here above. The thing I'm taking here is that these are obviously way bigger cryptos. So when XRP adjusted itself, it had way more news, way bigger community right now than even Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is not, retail isn't fully back yet. And for this, XRP has won this year. It has won, got most people as well. So it's definitely a clear winner, and that's what I'm saying. Even if you combine these two, XRP is like double up. It's worth more than XRP and Bitcoin this year. But Bitcoin and XRP, Bitcoin and Ethereum, my bad, not XRP, have had gains past years as well, while XRP was down. So this can change. Don't take this at face of value.
Quoting that, but all good, man. Whatever you want. This and end it.
There's going to be liquidity and people realize that, you know, the market is going to go higher and there's risk assets. And then, Charles, and I think you've been talking about this for a period of time, is Wall Street sold the bottom. Wall Street is underexposed. And so like in 09 or 03, we're going to have a massive catch-up trade between now and the first quarter of 2026. And so, yes, AI is great, but at the same point in time, small cap, retail, home builders, everything is going to have a massive catch-up trade. And so what I would be suggesting your listeners to do, or your viewers to do, is expect the breadth in the market to increase over the next 4 to 6 months.
Guys, listen, in history, if we look back in history, rates usually drop. They start printing money, QE. It's time to get into risk assets. That's just what I've seen, you know, looking back at different historic times when we've done certain things like this. But do realize that eventually, when you start printing money and inflation is already rising, that will catch up to us in 2026 sometime.
That's what I've been telling you guys. 2026, don't expect too much. 2025, you can have your hopes up, at least in my opinion. And I'm still going to be here 2026, but it's going to be a bumpy market.